Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to encapsulate objects within resin. Okay, so for this I'm using a polyester resin from eComposites. It's this stuff here. I've already got it pre-mixed in this little cup here, and I've got a mould that I've made, and there's a video on this. I'll link it above and below for you, and I'll also pop a link down below on where you can get this resin. So I've got that mixed up with my catalyst, and I'm just going to be encapsulating some drawn pins just to show you. And what I like to do first is I like to add whatever object it is that I'm going to be encapsulating into the mold first. So I'm just going to add them in here. Obviously you can put as many as you want in. It can be quite loose or it can be compact, it's up to you. For this I'm going to make it quite compact. And just keep in mind that the heavy items will sink below and the lighter items will float. So sometimes you have to do it in smaller layers to get the objects where you want them to be in your cast. But I've got that all filled up now. And the good thing about putting the objects in first is you can figure out how much resin you're going to need. So if you put the resin in first and then put the object in, the resin might slop over the top. So I've got that there, just all random, and then I'm just going to pour my resin on top. I'll get closer so you can see. Just pour it on top, all over. Go as far as I want. This obviously isn't anything, it's just like a little test just to show you what you can do. There we go, right to the top. And we're just going to set this aside for a few hours and I'll show you what it looks like at the end. Okay, and we're back. We've left that to set for a few hours and we've got something that looks like this. Obviously it's just a little sample. So it's nothing perfect, but you can see it there. And that's basically how you encapsulate objects in resin. Obviously this was just a little small tester, but you can do much bigger pieces. So I've done this one here with pins inside. It's so heavy. But yeah, so you can do quite a lot with it, and they're really compact on this one. But when you are encapsulating objects in resin, just be careful because you can get cracking in your resin. So you have to think with resin, when it hardens, so it's a liquid that turns into a solid and it hardens by heating up and then shrinking. And you have to think all the resin around here shrinks and compacts. And sometimes it'll collide with the object and then you get little small cracks inside the resin. One way to avoid that is to lower the catalyst, and that way it gives it a much slower reaction, so you have less friction within the mold and within the cast. But obviously stick with the guidelines. You don't want to limit the catalyst too much, otherwise the resin won't set either. So it's a difficult one, but once you've got used to resin and you've used it quite a lot, you will get used to it. But it can be unpredictable and certain things will go wrong for whatever reason, so you do have to be careful. And also avoid encapsulating anything that has any moisture, any liquids or anything like that, because resin hates it and your resin won't set. So definitely avoid like fruits, vegetables, anything with liquid inside, because you have to think, even if it's dry on the outside, when the resin heats up with that object inside, then the liquid inside is going to come out. It'll affect your sculpture or your project or your cast or whatever it is you're making. But hopefully you enjoyed that video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and leave me a comment down below if you have any questions on resin, and I'll try to answer them the best I can. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It really helps me out a lot. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye! What I'm going to be showing you is a brand new sculpture that I've just created using the encapsulating objects in resin technique that I've just shown you. So you get to see the birth of this sculpture, and it's always very unpredictable because, as you can see, it's in a mold. I have no idea what it looks like inside, so hopefully it looks alright. But we'll get this demolded and you can have a look and see what you can do with encapsulating objects in resin. Right, let's bring it back so you can see. And hopefully it's turned out okay. It's like giving birth, just less graphic and less painful. And there we go. This is what you can do with encapsulating in resin as well. It's turned out pretty decent actually. Obviously I need to set it aside and polish it and tidy it up a bit, but yeah, my new child. There you go.